this state's failure to fully fund our education system, right? You have seen it. You also have seen our history and the consequences of our history, and those in power who have created systems that have still perpetuated and existed to this day. And that's what we're still trying to overcome, still trying to change. Whether that's bullying that exists and the cultural symptoms of our history, like I said, and that's what we're trying to change, right? We're trying to change hate. We're trying to change that just because you're different doesn't mean that you shouldn't be included. And I'm going to tell you a story about how I got to this position. So I am a son of immigrants. Both my parents came here from Mexico. They had 4 kids. They divorced when I was very young, and I was raised by a single mom. And I'm going to tell you this, even though I don't share this very often, but all of my siblings did not graduate and dropped out of school. And so I knew that there was something wrong with our educational system, where if you grew up in poverty, the chances of you going to college are slim to none. And that is systemic. And that's what I wanted to change, because for me to see my younger brother drop out of high school as I was still in college was heartbreaking. Because I knew that I was going to go to college to make sure that my siblings could get a better opportunity. And I didn't make it out in time for me to help him. So I made it my cause to make sure that we improve our education system. I went on to get elected on the Reynolds School Board at the age of 25, right after grad school. And I wanted to do that because I knew that the way that we could change things is to improve our policies. And then from the school district, I realized that as a state, we are letting down our students because we are not fully funding our education system. And that has dire consequences. That has dire consequences because we don't have early childhood education the way that we should. We don't have K through 3 reading programs that make sure that everybody by 3rd grade can read comprehensively. We also don't have a great CTE program in every single aspect of our state. And so we need to invest in early childhood education. We need to invest in reading comprehension, but we also need to invest in CTE. And there's one component of it that I left out. And that's because it's something close to me as somebody who has worked in schools, has worked with young people, and that's mental health. Right? I've been traveling all across the state with the Joint Committee on Student Success. I've been to Southern Oregon, Eastern Oregon. I've been to Clackamas County, Eugene. I've been to Roseburg. I've been to Wilsonville, all over parts of this state, and I've been listening to students. So has that whole Joint Committee on Student Success. We've been listening to students. And even though I knew this, it was great for my colleagues and myself to rehear that our students are struggling when it comes to access to supports. Whether that's access to a counselor, whether that's access to a social worker, or even having access to your own teacher, because the class sizes are too big. And our teachers lack educational assistance, lack other educational support. So what that means is that in this state, we must reevaluate where we're at and what we must do. And one of those things is what I believe strongly in, fully funding our education system. And so the Joint Committee is going to put together a proposal that, it will require us to come together. It will require us to do revenue reform and also cost containment. And revenue reform is tough, and that's what you'll probably hear. In order for us to give more money towards education, somebody's got to pay for it. And that means more taxes. So when we talk about taxes, it's not a very easy thing to talk about. So we must prove to the people of this state, we must prove to the rest of our colleagues that what we put together is something worth investing. That we all must come together. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. That we must all come together to build an education system that this country, that this state should have. And that is one where you go into a building and you're proud to be in that building. and that you're accepted. That it doesn't matter your gender, your sexuality, your race, your religion, but that you are accepted. And that you have a space for people to come together and support you. That you have the right adequate resources. And that it's about your dreams, not the dreams we create for you, but it's about your dreams and what you aspire to do, and that we give you the tools to achieve your dreams. That's what we got to do. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. Your voice is critical. One thing that is a highlight from our Joint Committee on Student Success traveling around the state, every single one of my colleagues have said is talking to students. And what that tells me is that you sharing your story, you sharing your experience, you sharing what you have a vision for this state when it comes to our public education is critical, and it sticks with us. Some of these folks have not been in school for a very, very long time. Things have changed. You deal with realities that some of my colleagues couldn't imagine. And so they need to hear from you. And don't forget, your voice is critical. It is one thing in history that has changed things, and that is young people. That is young people's voices. And so please continue to organize, continue to pressure us, continue to use your voice to push us to invest in our education system. Thank you so much.